If you're trying to get into cybersecurity, one of the biggest mistakes you can make is this: trying to break into a field when you do not even know what role you are aiming for. A lot of people say they want to get into cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is a huge field. There is not just one path. And if you pick the wrong target, you can waste months or even years learning the wrong things. So in this video, I'm going to break down different cybersecurity careers, what those roles actually look like day to day, who they might be a good fit for, and how to start figuring out what path actually makes the most sense for you. If you're new here, my name is Cedric Gusant. I'm a cybersecurity leader, consultant, mentor, mixed martial artist, father, husband, you name it. But I've spent years across cybersecurity working in technical and leadership roles, worked with organizations across different industries, reported over 100 unknown vulnerabilities to companies before, and helped quite a few people break into cybersecurity and also advance their careers. And one thing that I can tell you is this: a lot of people stay stuck because they keep saying they want to get into cybersecurity, but they never get specific. They do not know whether they want to go into SOC, GRC, cloud security, penetration testing, incident response, identity and access management, application security, or something else, right? So they chase random certifications, random advice, and random content online, which creates this confusion for them. This video is going to help you fix that. By the end of this video, you should have a much better understanding of the major cybersecurity career paths, what the work actually looks like, and how to start narrowing down the right fit for you. So what most people get wrong about cybersecurity careers is that cybersecurity is just hacking. That is one of the fastest way to misunderstand this field. Yes, offensive security exists. Yes, penetration testing exists, but that is only one part of cybersecurity. There are a number of people who monitor alerts all day long. There are a number of people who write policies and manage compliance. There are a number of people who secure cloud environments, right? There are a number of people who manage identities and access, right? There are a number of people who respond to incidents and do digital forensic work, right? There are a number of people who work with developers to secure applications before they get rolled out to the public, right? So when someone says, I want to get started in cybersecurity, that is a start, but it's not enough. You need to figure out what part of cybersecurity fits your strengths, interests, and career goals, because your path should match the role you actually want. Why choosing the right career path matters? This matters because the role you choose affects what skills you actually need. What certifications make sense, what labs or projects you should do, what types of jobs you should apply for, and how to position yourself to employers, right? And if you're aiming for a GRC role, your path will look different than someone aiming for a penetration testing role. If you're aiming for a SOC analyst role, that's going to look different from a cloud security or identity and access manager role. That is why targeted efforts matter. You do not just need effort, you need the right effort. So let's talk about the first career path: security operations analyst. What do they do? A security operations analyst is usually focused on monitoring, detecting, and triaging and investigating suspicious activity, right? They work with security alerts and products like SIEM tools, logs, user behavior, endpoint activity, phishing reports, and potential incidents. This is one of the more common entry points into cybersecurity. A normal day might include, you're reviewing security alerts, you're investigating suspicious login attempts, looking at endpoint detections, you're escalating real threats, you're trying to figure out what's false positives, you're reviewing phishing email, you're documenting your findings, you're following your playbooks and procedures or developing them. And in some environments, can be really fast paced. In others, it can involve a lot of repetitive alert triage. This is a good fit for someone who likes investigations, can stay detail oriented, does not mind the repetitive analysis at times, wants exposure to real threats and security events, or you like learning by seeing and what goes wrong in real environments. So some things to watch out for in this specific role is that some people like the idea of a SOC role more than an actual day-to-day. The job can involve a lot of alerts, a lot of false positives, a lot of repetitive workflows, so you can get burnt out. So if you hate monitoring, ticketing, or investigating the same type of issues repeatedly, this may not be your long-term fit. So the second career path, penetration tester and offensive security, what do penetration testers do? Most of the time whenever I mention this, people will be looking at me crazy, right? So penetration testers simulate attacks against systems, applications, networks, or organizations to identify security weaknesses before real attackers do. This is one of the most talked about career paths online because you get to kind of break the law legally, and I love it. The day-to-day depends on the type of engagement you're on, right? So you could be testing web applications, testing APIs, testing mobile applications, testing external infrastructure from the public internet, reviewing configurations, validating vulnerabilities, writing reports, documenting impact, explaining technical findings to clients or their leadership in all different types of ways that each stakeholder could understand, right? But a lot of people think the role is nonstop hacking, but that's not a reality. It's a lot of reporting and a lot of conversations, but a major part of the job is the methodology, right? The discipline, the documentation, and the communication, because at the end of the day, you're not just there to hack, you're there to communicate the value back to the organization that hired you, right? But this role is a good fit for someone who likes technical problem solving. They enjoy thinking like an attacker. You're curious, you're persistent, you like doing research and again, continuous learning. You can communicate things clearly in writing. So a few things to watch out for this type of role is that a lot of people romanticize the idea of hacking, right? But it's not about just finding cool bugs. You also need strong fundamentals, patience, and the ability to write quality reports that explain the risk clearly. And this is usually not the easiest entry point for someone with no technical foundation, just keeping it real. The next career path is governance, risk, and compliance, GRC. What does GRC do? GRC professionals help organizations manage security risk through governance, policies, frameworks, audits, risk assessments, compliance, you name it, right? All these requirements, they all have to be aligned with the business, because if you miss them, it could be costing your business millions of dollars, right? So this role is often overlooked by beginners because it is a real valuable part of cybersecurity. A normal day-to-day for a GRC professional might include, reviewing policies and procedures, performing risk assessments, working with control owners, preparing for audits, whether that be internal or with external parties, tracking remediation items, mapping security practices to frameworks that are aligned with your business, meeting with stakeholders, working through all your items, helping the business understand the security requirements. This role is a good fit for somebody who communicates well, thinks in a structured way. You like pretty much aligning with the business and risk management. You enjoy documentation, organization, and working with other teams, right? This is also a good fit if you want a cybersecurity role that is less centered on deep hands-on technical work, like you're not going to be coding or doing any program source code review or things like that, having to develop your own stuff like some of the other roles might involve. But some things that you're going to want to watch out for is that some people assume GRC is easy because it's less technical in some areas, but that can be a catch-22 because that's not true. You still need to understand security concepts, business risk, and how frameworks apply in the real world. And if you hate meetings, documentation, or cross-functional communication, you're not gonna enjoy this because you're gonna have to work with a lot of different people to help you accomplish what you're trying to accomplish in this role. Now, if you are watching this and realizing you do not actually know which cybersecurity path fits you best, that is exactly why we created a cybersecurity career quiz. It helps you start narrowing down what areas of cybersecurity may be the best fit for you based on your interests, strengths, and goals. I put a link in the description where you take a few questions and it takes less than 2 minutes. And then after that, you'll be able to get our free playbook that breaks down, how to break into cybersecurity without wasting time. Now let's keep going. The fourth career path, cloud security. Let me break down what the cloud actually is. It's just somebody else's resources, right? The cloud, you can do all different types of things in it, but basically you're leasing computing power and services from someone else. That's it. And so you don't have to manage it yourself in some cases. What does cloud security do? A lot of people talk about the cloud, but cloud security professionals help secure cloud environments like AWS, Azure, Google Cloud. So I would say that includes identity, configurations, monitoring, misconfigurations, permissions, architecture, and risk. The day-to-day might involve reviewing cloud configurations, investigating risky permissions, identifying exposed resources, hardening cloud environments, working together with engineering teams to help improve the visibility and monitoring, right? As well as reviewing cloud security related findings, and still can be helping out with designing more secure architectures for that environment, that cloud environment. Now, this is a good fit for someone who likes modern infrastructure, has interest in cloud platforms, enjoys working together on the technical work and the problem solving. And it's also good, for someone who wants to work in an area that with a strong long-term demand, because the cloud ain't going nowhere. Cloud came in, took over early 2010s, 2012, 2013, 2014, and it's only going to continue to keep growing now. The flexibility that it allows companies to do it's almost priceless. Well, actually, it does have a price. It's just dynamic based on how those cloud providers are feeling in our current economic situation, which in this state, let me not get political, but anyways, so some things to watch out for in this specific actual role in cloud security is not usually where you start from zero. Like, you really got to have a foundation. It really depends on your foundation in IT, networking, systems, security, and cloud knowledge, right? So if this interests you, that is great, but you understand it may be a path you grow into and not something that you jump into right off the bat. The next career path, fifth one, incident response, threat detection. So what do incident response professionals do? They pretty much investigate, contain, and help not only confirm, but help recover from security incidents, right? So threat detection roles really focus on identifying suspicious activity and improving the organization's ability to spot attacks earlier. Now, the day-to-day could look like you start off reviewing suspicious behavior, right? Investigating alerts, analyzing logs and evidence, tracing attacker activity, helping contain incidents, coordinating with different teams, improving your detections, writing after action reports so you can learn from it. This work can get intense depending on the environment and whether an active incident is happening, because when an incident is happening, oh boy, the I'll let you use your imagination to fill in the rest, hits the fan. But this role is a good fit for someone who can stay calm under pressure. You like investigations, and you enjoy high stakes problem solving, and you can think critically and move quickly when you're in those high pressure situations. So some things you need to watch out for is that incident response can be stressful. It is not always predictable. And if you want a role with low urgency and minimal pressure, this definitely is not it. The next one, career path for number 6, identity and access management. So what do identity and access management professionals do? They focus on making sure that the right people have the right access to the right systems at the right time. This is an important area that many beginners realize. A lot of real world security risk comes from the identity, right? Because identity is like really the new perimeter. Your email, think about how many services that you're signed up to with your email. So if someone compromises your email, that identity, what could they do at that point? What could they trigger forgot password flows for? What services? Your bank account? Or that's just one of them, right? But identity is not the only thing that the risk comes from. It also comes from, the permissions, the access control, and account misuse. So the day-to-day for a identity and access management professional is going to include reviewing users' access, managing onboarding and offboarding workflows of users, right? Or certain applications, supporting access reviews, working together with certain applications and systems to implement MFA and authentication controls, as well as investigating privilege issues, as well as improving your identity governance, helping design access processes. Now, this role is a great fit for someone who likes structure and logic, enjoys process improvement, and you want a role that actually sits at the intersection of security systems and business operations, really. And this is also good if you are someone who can work carefully and consistently. But some things you really need to watch out for is that some people overlook identity and access management because it does not sound flashy, but it is extremely relevant and can lead to strong opportunities. So still, if you want highly offensive or deeply investigative work every day, this may not scratch that itch for you. Last but not least, one of my favorites and my forte. Application security for our 7th. So what do application security professionals help with? They help secure software throughout the software development lifecycle. They work together with developers, engineers, and security teams to reduce the vulnerabilities in their applications before those issues make it to production, right? The day-to-day might include reviewing application security findings, working together with developers on the remediation to really make sure that they fix the problems that were identified, helping improve secure coding practices by training the devs on secure coding practices, reviewing your software development lifecycle processes, validating vulnerabilities, working together with the scanners and testing tools to make sure that you're knocking out all the low-hanging fruit, right? And you're advising on secure design decisions to your actual app dev team. Now, this role is a good fit for someone that likes software and you like tinkering around with applications, right? And that you are someone who wants to work together closely with the developers, right? Really hand in hand. Also, someone who enjoys the technical depth and business impact, right? Because you're really on the front line. You are the infantry, basically. This is also a good fit for someone who finds the security of applications interesting in general. But some things you really need to watch out for in this role is that it becomes much easier if you understand how applications actually work. If you have no foundation in web apps, API, authentication, development concepts, there is going to be a significant learning curve. So again, this might not be something you start off into right away. It might be something you have to grow into, volunteer, but it's worth it, all right? If you wanna start figuring out which path fits you, here is a mistake I do not want you to make. Do not choose a path solely based on what sounds cool. You need to choose a path on what actually fits you. Ask yourself this: do you like investigative work? Do you like structured documentation, right? And policy? Ask yourself, do I want something deeply technical? Do I want to work with more business stakeholders? Do I enjoy cloud and infrastructure? Do I enjoy applications and development? Do I want a fast-paced incident environment? Do I want more stable process-oriented role? You do not need to answer every question today, but you do need to start thinking about this and narrowing things down, because ultimately you're not going to be able to answer these questions until you get exposed and you start to establish your foundation in the main core areas of cybersecurity. Because once you know your target, everything else gets clearer for you. The right skills become clearer. The right certs to go after become clearer. The right projects to go after become clearer. The right job titles to apply to become clearer. The biggest mistake beginners make is trying to prepare for all of cybersecurity at once. That is too broad. That is too vague. That is too inefficient. You do not need to master everything. You need to build a foundation and then move in a targeted direction, like I was just saying. That is how momentum happens. That is how confidence happens. That is how you stop wasting time. Now, the honest truth about cybersecurity careers: there is no perfect cybersecurity role. Every path has trade-offs. Some are technical, some are more business focused, some are repetitive, some are more stressful, some require stronger communication, and some require stronger hands-on skills. The goal is not to find a role that sounds impressive online. The goal should be to find a role that fits your strengths, interests, and long-term goals well enough for you to stay consistent and actually grow. That is what matters, because the right path for you is the one you can commit to, build your skills up in, and turn into a real opportunity. So if you have been saying you want to get into cybersecurity, but you have not gotten specific yet, let this be your sign to fix that. Cybersecurity is a big field. That is a good thing. It's like the medical field. It means there are multiple ways to win, but it also means you need clarity. And one more thing, before you go, if you are serious about breaking into cybersecurity, if you want help figuring out the right path, building the right skills, and streamlining the whole process, that is exactly why we built the Cybersecurity Mentorship and Training Program. A lot of people waste time bouncing between random certifications, random advice, and random content without a clear roadmap. I mean, I once did. Our program is designed to help you cut through that noise with structure, mentorship, hands-on training, coaching, career support, and real guidance based on where you are and where you want to go. So if you are ready for the next steps and you want to streamline the entire process so you're not wasting time, you can apply to our program with the link in the description below and start moving with a plan instead of guessing. If this video gave you any value, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment below letting me know where you are in your cybersecurity path and which path are you interested in, and if you have any questions, then I'll get back to you. And if you want help understanding how to actually break into cybersecurity once you pick a direction, watch this video where I break down how to get into cybersecurity step by step.